Hey everybody, thanks for joining me back. It's been a while, but today I'm going to tell you about the eastern rat snake. And just to get started, here we see pictures of a juvenile eastern rat snake. But as you see, over time, as they get older, as they age, they get darker. This is the same snake 6 months later, and here a year later. So it went from that light color to this dark color. You can still see a little bit of the pattern, but you're not. So today I'm going to show you a captive bred rat snake feeding, and we're going to talk a little bit about rat snakes. They're one of my favorite snakes. This is that same light colored snake you saw in the beginning of this video. This is the same snake exactly 1 year later. So here I'm feeding the rat snake, and just so you know, rat snakes are a group of snakes called colubrids. A lot of people are familiar with corn snakes. Corn snakes are rat snakes. In fact, one of the names of corn snake is the red rat snake. So here we're feeding this black rat snake a mouse, and no, the mouse isn't dead because the snake is venomous. Rat snakes are not venomous. This snake is captive bred, and because it's captive bred, it has not been had a need to constrict an animal or do anything like that, which is good, right? Because it's captive bred. If you were to feed a live rodent to them, like we used to back in the day, if the snake isn't hungry, the mouse could attack the snake and harm the snake or damage the snake. So it really wasn't very humane. And so now we feed them frozen dead animals. So I really want to share this video with you because it's somewhat unique. A couple of things. One is that as you watch the animal, like I said, this is captive bred, about a year old, a little over a year old snake. She's actually a little bit larger than typical, but she's eating a mouse and she's pulling it to her favorite space. So colubrids are funny. They're one of my favorite snakes, the class family colubrids and rat snakes in particular, because for a reptile, not like a dog or cat, they're extremely responsive to people and they tame really easy and they have quirks and things and behaviors. She will actually come to the cage when I come to the cage and look at me and even follow my finger. My boa constrictor would never do anything like that. A ball python would never do anything like that. They're very interactive. It's almost like a sense of intelligence almost. They're just so cool to interact with. So one of the things she's doing is interesting here, which is why I wanted to share this video. She's eating from the back. Typically and normally when a snake eats a mouse, they start at the head. And the reason for that is the arms, legs, and everything fold backwards. So it makes it very easy for the snake to swallow. But in this case, for whatever reason, and they do this sometimes, she's going from the back. So it's very hard, really, for her to get it down. It's going to take some work. She'll get it down, but it's quirky. I don't know. I've never seen her do this before. She's doing it today. She'll get it down, but that's just what she's doing. Very interesting. So like I said, rat snakes as a whole, there are many different, I guess you say, subspecies. So this particular one is called an eastern rat snake. They're found primarily, I would say, south of the James River in Virginia, going east. It's the eastern. You get up around maybe as far north as like Hanover County, Virginia, up in that area. I'm familiar with that area, so I know what I'm talking about there. Basically the coastal plain, southern coastal plain. A lot of those rat snakes are black, right? The further you get from the coast, they get darker, almost black. But more importantly, many of them will keep that pattern, that juvenile pattern. You see the little blotches in this one between. And some of them, if you look very closely, they appear to be black or dark gray, but you can still see four lateral black lines that extend from the head to the tail. As you get closer to the beach, let's say you get down from south into North Carolina, south of the Albemarle Sound. So we're talking south of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, along the coast. Then these same snakes, same species, they become a bright green, almost yellow, with the four lateral lines. So this area that I'm speaking of between the coast and let's say the Piedmont area is kind of an intergrade zone where you get an intergrade between what are called the eastern rat snakes and the gray rat snakes. So here you have this kind of intermediate zone. They're still eastern, but they're black. But in many cases, you can still see the four lateral lines. Sometimes you can't. Distinguishing central rat snakes from eastern rat snakes just by eye, unless they're yellow or unless you see the four lines. It's hard. It's hard. It's all genetics. And to be quite honest with you, until relatively recently, they were all just called black rat snakes, period. Eastern rat snakes, period. But rat snakes in general, they make great starter pets. There's corn snakes, Texas rat snakes, central gray rat snakes, fox snakes, eastern rat snakes. They tame relatively easy. Black snakes, black rat snakes, or eastern rat snakes, they can grow over 6 feet in length. In fact, in some cases, a really old one may attain a length close to 7 feet, maybe even close a little bit more than that. It's rare, but it happens. They do get big enough. You can go on YouTube and you will find it. There are enough that reach that size that can actually eat small rabbits, chipmunks, even adult gray squirrels. So they get pretty nice size, and they can take in a pretty nice sized meal. So, but again, one of my favorite snakes. You see, she's almost gotten it down. So let's just go ahead and watch her finish. Thanks for joining. I will say I'm going to try to make some more videos, but we're late in the year. One other thing, even though she's captive bred, she still has an instinct to brumate. So snakes don't hibernate, they brumate, which means that their metabolism slows during the late fall through winter into early springtime period. So even though she's in captivity, last year she slowed down a lot. She only ate once or twice, so she may go through a period this year. That's why I'm giving her a larger meal. Wouldn't usually give her this large, but there's a chance she may not eat, but maybe one small meal after this, and then we'll simply cover her up, let her slow down, make sure she has water, shorten the light-dark cycle to simulate winter, and then March, April, we'll start to heat her up again. So fun things to do, really interesting. Black rats are such a fun animal to work with. So hope you enjoyed this educational video. Remember, these are one of the snakes that you'll see around. They don't mind being around people. Rat snakes, not that they like to be around people, but people are messy and people have mice and rats. And that's what they eat. So they'll be around. If you see a snake in your kitchen that's light gray and has squarish markings or patterns, brown, black, gray, probably a juvenile rat snake. You typically see them this time of year getting into people's homes and walls. If you see a nice sized snake in someone's house in an odd place, doesn't make sense, you're wondering how did it get here? That's usually a rat snake. Either a corn snake, eastern rat snake, Texas snake. That's what they do. They're everywhere. They climb, they swim, they love to make their homes in buildings. Anywhere that has mice, they're coming. They're birds, they're coming. You got a chicken coop, you got some nice chicken eggs, they're coming. City, suburbs, country, they're coming. So lots of fun. That's all I've got to say about the incredible eastern rat snake. Enjoy the rest of the video and see you next time.